Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a video covering two new mice that I actually do feel pretty refreshing in the hand. I do have the Nifter mouse on my mousepad right now. I'm not going to be talking about that yet. This just came in the mail today. I have it out because it matches my setup. It's going to be what I'm using just to navigate my PC during the video. But the mice I want to talk about are actually the Micro M3 or M3 Micro from Darmoshark, as well as PMM Cyber 4.0, which was supposedly modeled after or taken inspiration from the Cybertruck by Elon Musk. This is really a mouse that I think shows the progression of 3D printed mice. It shows really what somebody can do with that long history and experience of working with this type of material and this type of mouse. It feels exceptionally good, and really, in terms of build quality, there's just nothing that I would be able to point to in game that would detract from the experience. Pre and post travel on mouse 1 and mouse 2 are almost flawless, with barely any pre-travel and barely any post-travel. And the nice thing about this, well, maybe not for certain reasons because it does increase the price, but obviously he sources the materials on the internals from other mice. So this is using the Ninjutsu Sora 4K. It will be able to be upgraded to 8K once the Sora 8K dongles come out. And with that, you get the scroll wheel, the encoder, as well as the switches, the Omron opticals. And the Omron opticals here just feel crispy and just perform so well in game. It really is a joy to use this thing in tack shooters. And very clearly, the mouse is a primarily fingertip mouse. So it's a fun, refreshing experience in the sense that I don't think a lot of you guys will probably have used something like this. And in terms of fingertip mice, it is probably one of the most interesting, the most intriguing, and the one with some of the best build quality. Again, if you don't need side buttons, this mouse is going to feel exceptionally good and even equal to or better build quality than a lot of flagship mice coming out right now with the way the main clicks feel. In terms of the experience, again, it's primarily a fingertip mouse, and it's like you're basically using half of a mouse. I think the ergonomics here for where I place my fingers, you guys can really see how I operate this thing, but it feels exceptionally good, and I think locks me into a particular grip when I'm fingertipping this. And for tack shooters, it comes off as feeling very fun, very refreshing. For things like battle royales, I struggle a little bit because I bind my side buttons on some very important functions in battle royales. But once you get used to it, again, the tracking just felt really crispy, and it's just a fun, refreshing experience. You guys can see how small this mouse is, and the only thing that I can see being a problem later down the road is it is only using a 150 mAh battery. Obviously, when the 8K dongle comes out, I think on 1000 hertz, it's advertised as 45 or 48 hour battery life. But when you do upgrade this to 8K, obviously the battery life is going to be much, much more reduced. So the downsides of this, once the 8K comes out, battery life and price. I think the mouse comes in at around $280, but again, that's because of the labor, the materials. The product is definitely very professionally done, and the internals having to be taken from other mice. So the product procurement is obviously a little bit more expensive than some of these big flagship companies buying PCBs in bulk. Overall, though, a killer mouse and an experience that has made gaming for me quite a bit more fun in times where gaming right now is just exceptionally stale. Now, the next mouse is the Darmoshark. Oh, and again, guys, this mouse comes in at 20 grams with that 150 mAh battery. The Darmoshark M3, Micro M3, is coming in at 44 grams. So over double the weight, and you can see the size of the mice just slightly varied. But the nice thing about the Darmoshark is you are getting two side buttons. So if you need that functionality, you will be getting it on the Darmoshark M3 Micro. It's not as fully exclusively fingertip like the Cyber 4.0, but you would have to have very small hands to get anything other than a fingertip grip. And the coating is going to feel smoother than the Cyber 4.0. Clearly a little slimmer in terms of grip width. And then obviously you feel that weight whipping around a little bit more in the fingers because it is double the weight, and it's a little elongated. I don't know who would particularly be palming this, but if you do, you would obviously have a pretty small hump from the bottom of the mouse all the way to the peak. I think it's obviously primarily a fingertip mouse, but it is one that does feel pretty solid. In terms of overall build quality, you can hear the shell pop a little bit. I don't think the build quality is something that I would really proclaim is up there in terms of flagship quality. But despite some of the flexing of the shell, if you squeeze very, very hard, there's not really much more issues. Mouse 4 and Mouse 5 do have a slight amount of post-travel and not really a whole lot of pre-travel. So they've actually done pretty good for the functionality of Mouse 4 and Mouse 5, despite their size. I mean, they are fully functional in-game. I didn't have any issues hitting them, which is actually really great. The Mouse 1 and Mouse 2, actually very little side flex, and Mouse 3 has a lot of spammability, and the scroll wheel does move pretty fluidly with pretty noticeable and audible steps. The switches here are TTC Blue Dot Falcon switches and actually feel okay. Again, the pre-travel is minimal, post-travel minimal, and they've overall done a fairly good job. I think in-game I've only ever noticed a little bit of flex every once in a while, but overall, again, they've done a pretty good job. You can see you've got the dongle holder here. The default skates are okay. And overall, the performance of the mouse that I had, everything just felt pretty good. And again, refreshing and solid performance. So, I can't really speak too negatively on the Darmoshark M3 Micro. A refreshing fingertip experience. You do get the side buttons. The only thing that I think I can point to is obviously you're not going to get that 4K experience unless you can upgrade in the future. And then the weight and weight balance, it doesn't feel all that balanced in terms of the overall weight, not nearly as much as the Featherlight PMM Cyber 4.0. But very fun experiences with both these mice. If you're looking for something refreshing, I think both of these definitely offer something that might pique your interest for quite a while. That's going to be it for this one, though, guys. I don't have much more to dive into on these two mice. Again, the PMM, I'm just having a blast with this. For me, the one I obviously pick up more just because it's more unique feeling to me is the PMM. For tack shooters, I've been just having an absolute blast with this thing, whipping it around either on glass pads or cloth pads. It's just a very fun mouse and one that I'm excited to see the performance in 8K as soon as those dongles come out. So guys, that's it for this one. I hope it helped. If it did, please leave a sub to the channel. See you guys in the next review. Peace.